Hey team, so today's question is how do you knock 10 minutes off a half marathon? Okay, to drop that amount of time, you're definitely going to have to, whatever your goal time is, say right now your personal best is 2 hours and you want to get down to 1 hour and 50 minutes. There's no question about it. You're going to have to run well below 8 minutes and 30 seconds per mile pace. Okay, so a 2 hour half marathon is 9:09 marathon or 9:09 per mile pace. So to drop that amount of time off of your half marathon, one of the biggest recommendations if you're trying to run that much faster over your current personal best is to start doing your long runs at faster, varied paces. Okay, if you've been a viewer of this channel long enough, you'll know that just about every one of my videos, I always bring this up, the importance of running portions, not the entire long run that you do every single weekend. I don't want you guys and gals doing your long runs fast from start to finish. Okay, it should be a portion of your long run. If it's a varied pace long run, okay, or if you're doing like a steady state long run, so maybe like a 2 mile warm up, then you're running 10 miles. Say it's like a 18-mile long run, 2 mile warm up, 10 miles at say goal marathon race pace. Okay, then you run 2 miles easy, 2 or 3 miles easy, then a mile at 5K to 10K race pace, and then like a mile or 2 mile cool down. Okay, so that's like it's a very paced long run. You have a mixture of anaerobic VO2 max effort, lactate threshold effort, and then very easy aerobic effort as well. Okay, if you're trying to get to a point where you're wanting to drop, in terms of this question of how do you knock 10 minutes off a half marathon, that's one of my top recommendations. If you want to drop 10 minutes off your current personal best off your half marathon, is to start running your long runs at faster paces. Okay, always alternate. Okay, don't run easy every single weekend, because all that's going to make you is a superior long, slow distance runner. Okay, to drop 10 minutes off your half marathon best, you're going to have to focus on your leg speed. Okay, my recommendation is you need to be doing at least one VO2 max workout per week, one tempo run per week, and one long run per week. That VO2 max effort is between 95 and 100% of your max heart rate. Running at lactate threshold or your anaerobic threshold or tempo effort pace is running anywhere from 85 to 89% of your maximum heart rate. So dropping 10 minutes off your half marathon, your current half marathon best, start lengthening out the length of your tempo runs. Okay, if in the past you've been training for the half marathon, you haven't seen significant drops in your half marathon personal best, maybe the problem is you're not running long enough at your lactate threshold effort. So maybe your current longest tempo run might be 3 to 5 miles. Okay, if you're wanting to drop in terms of how do you knock 10 minutes off a half marathon, maybe you need to lengthen that tempo run out to say 7 to 10 miles in length. Get that tempo run out to around 16 kilometers. Okay, the longer you spend at your anaerobic threshold, the better. Okay, you're improving your body's lactate tolerance. More importantly, if you want to knock 10 minutes off your half marathon personal best, you have to make sure that you teach the body to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up. And you're not going to be able to do that by running easy, relaxed mileage every single day. Okay, you can run high mileage. High mileage is not always the answer though. Okay, if you're running too high of a percentage of your weekly volume at too aerobic an effort, you're just going to be building endurance, burning fat, which is obviously very, very important. Easy running is still critical and vital to drop 10 minutes off a half marathon. You can only push the body so hard so many times. And if you're not paying attention to those easy recovery days, jogging on your recovery days, get beyond what pace per mile or pace per kilometer you're running at on your easy days. Focus on the tempo runs, focus on the speed workouts you're doing, the hill repetitions you're doing, those faster varied pace long runs that I talk about. Okay, those are the days you really focus on your pace per kilometer, pace per mile, or the splits you're hitting on the track or on the roads. Okay, obviously if you're wanting to drop 10 minutes off your half marathon best, you have to start doing those intervals at significantly faster than your current half marathon best. Okay. We know this as fact, but it's also very important for you to be patient when you're doing this, because if you're trying to drop that amount of time, um, granted, it's also, if you're trying to drop it in a very short amount of time, like say if you're trying to drop 10 minutes off your half marathon time in a matter of say 3 to 4 weeks, I think that's kind of unrealistic. Okay, because it takes time for you to prepare properly for the half marathon distance. My recommendation is to train between 16 to 24 weeks so that you're not in a rush getting in great anaerobic shape. Okay, it takes the body 21 days to 4 weeks to adapt to any stress load you're placing on it. So right now, if you're doing mile repeats at say 730 per rep, okay, you have to focus on doing those mile repeats on the track or on the roads at 730 per rep for at least 3 weeks before it starts to become easier for you, and then you can start focusing on running them and say like 710 per rep. Okay, but give yourself 3 to 4 weeks before you start moving to the next intensity. Okay, and that's why I always say if you're training for a longer race like a half marathon, my recommendation is to focus on a longer buildup rather than a shorter buildup, because one, you're not in a rush to get in great fitness. You will allot sufficient time for your body to adapt to each hard anaerobic workout you're doing, whether it's hill repetitions, you're doing fartlek workouts, and you're giving yourself more time. So 16 weeks minimum, preferably 20 to 24 weeks if you're training for a half marathon. And yes, you can drop 10 minutes off a half marathon. I've known runners and I've trained with runners. I've also coached runners that have dropped over an hour off their half or off their full marathon time. The half marathon, because it's a longer race, if you taper down correctly, you do a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper, you start dropping your volume and intensity only 10 days out from your main half marathon, you're going to go into your half marathon feeling more rested and prepared rather than lethargic and tired if you start dropping your volume and intensity 3 weeks out from your half marathon. I think a lot of athletes get in that mindset of doing a 3-week taper, and then they get to their goal race and they feel tired rather than fully rested and motivated going into their race. The problem is, and it's not for every athlete, but a lot of athletes still get great results off a 3-week taper. But if you start dropping your volume and intensity too far out, I think that it can make you feel stale. And so you want to continue to remind your legs of what you're training them to do up until 10 days out from your main race. In terms of a last workout I would do going into a goal half marathon, for me, I would do 4 days out from your goal half marathon, do a 5K or a 3-mile run at goal half marathon race pace, 4 days out from your goal half marathon race. Okay, and then the 3 days after that, either jog 2 to 3 miles each day, or just a few kilometers each day, about 5 kilometers, 3 to 5, just nice and easy and relax. Maybe take the day off before the half marathon that you're training for. Do some light strides, 50 to 100 meter strides, 3 to 4 of those, 2 days before the race. And then after that 5K or 3-mile run at goal half marathon race pace, 4 days out from your main race, really just start to relax. Okay, 10 days out from, like I said, 10 days out, start dropping your volume around 60 to 70%. And then it's mainly just maintenance workouts from there. Very light workouts, easy running, and that last 5K or 3-mile run at goal half marathon race pace. Okay, so yes, you can drop 10 minutes off of your half marathon current personal best, but make sure that you're paying attention to the other fundamentals. Okay, what you do the hours and days, what you do the hours after the track workouts and the road sessions is going to really dictate how successful you are at improving your half marathon current personal best and dropping 10 minutes off of it. Okay, focus on the things that you can control yourself. Okay, if it's bad weather out, everybody else is going to have to compete in it. Okay, so if it's windy, get behind those other runners and draft off of them. Let those other athletes work harder than you're going to have to work. Okay, do the very best you can to get in a group that's running at a pace that you're aiming to go after. Okay? Don't try to do all the work yourself in the early stages of your half marathon, and make sure you focus on a negative split. Focus on running the second half of your half marathon faster than you run the first half. So I hope this makes sense in terms of how do you knock 10 minutes off a half marathon. You definitely can do it. And I hope this particular video is helpful for you all that are thinking about a new strategy. Maybe it's the 10-day taper. Maybe it's doing long runs at a faster effort. Maybe you've been doing long runs, long, slow, and easy too often, and that's the reason why you're not dropping significant time off your current half marathon best. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any other questions or concerns. Like this video, share it with other athletes. I definitely appreciate the support. It obviously helps more people around the world see these videos. And I wish you all the best. I look forward to hearing about your new personal best, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.